Our top story: clashes have broken out earlier today during a protest against the Citizenship Act at Delhi's Seelampur and Gokulpuri areas in northeast Delhi. Fortunately, that situation somewhat under control now. It's still tense. Protesters threw stones at policemen. They fired at the crowd and used tear gas shells. Did these protesters? The crowd was protesting against the Citizenship Act, and the police cracked down on a protest at the Jamia Millia University on Sunday night. More than 1,000 protesters had come out onto the streets after 1 p.m. They threw stones and glass bottles at the police. In retaliation, the police tear gassed the protesters. Peaceful protests have been going on in the area for the last 2 days. Let's go straight across to NDTV's Arvind Gunasekara, who joins us for the very latest on the ground. Arvind, what is the situation in Seelampur and Gokulpuri right now?
Vishnu, we are standing in the Seelampur main road. We could see our cameraman can show the visuals of protesters. Actually, they have started to disperse. In fact, this particular protest, it started around 1 p.m. where the locals from Seelampur and also from the adjoining area, that is Gaudampuri, they started gathering here for a march. Even the same crowd, they also had a march at yesterday 8 p.m. also. But yesterday's march was very much peaceful. But today, when this crowd, when they started the march, when they wanted to go to the Sharda flyover, that's where the police stopped them. The moment police stopped them, the protesters, they started pelting stones, and in fact they started throwing bottles also at the police. That's why police personnel are saying that they had to use force to disperse the crowd. In fact, we are also joined by Sanket. Sanket has also been here. He also spoke to some of the protesters here. So let's ask him. Sanket, you have been speaking to the protesters here. So what's their main demand? Are they also protesting for the Citizenship Amendment Act? So what's their main demand?
I think the protest was organized, and the people who were organizing the protests, they kept their demands limited to the removal of the Citizenship Amendment Bill, the fact that NRC must not be implemented. But if you speak to the police, an initial report suggests that even here, quite like Jamia, they seem to suggest that there were certain anti-social elements who were not originally part of this protest, who joined in the protest, disrupted peace, or altered the nature of the protest, and the protest turned violent. So much so that this road right here, and the VJ is going to show you this road, which by the way now has been open for traffic. So normalcy completely restored now. As you can see, on both sides, traffic has been restored. So the road has been cleared. People are being asked to disperse. In fact, the only gathering as of this moment are the media crew. And I think as responsible people, we must also push back a little so that normalcy can be restored. What the police seems to be saying over here, Arvind, is that a handful of antisocial elements, they created the ruckus, and that is how it turned violent. Now the real task as of this moment is to identify who those people are. Some people have been rounded up, some people are in police custody, and the police is continuing their investigation. However, the strategy is two-pronged. Number one, to maintain peace. As you also may be aware, you have covered these areas extensively. Seelampur and nearby areas are known as hypersensitive areas. In fact, we usually see that tempers run very high in adjoining areas in Seelampur in eastern Delhi. This time around as well, the police was anticipating that something could go wrong, but they never had an idea that police pickets will be burnt down or the road will be blocked. So to that extent, this did come as a surprise. But I think we have to reiterate for the benefit of our viewers that the tear gas shelling vehicle, which was parked right here, has been moved back. The cops who were standing here have now been asked to push back, and traffic has now been allowed. So signs of normalcy after a very tense afternoon in Seelampur.